Take me down to the courthouse and... Alright, anyways. Lewis, when you're ready, I'm just going to stay here like this.
I feel like that has to be the intro. Hey guys, welcome back to the Nerditude Movie Podcast. After a 5-year hiatus, we are back.
5 years? It's been a while, guys.
Yeah, it has been a while. My child is now a grown man.
I lost more hair.
Yeah.
I figured out that I have reverse Benjamin Button syndrome. So you age normally? Yes.
So we're back with another 2 movies.
If that's what you can call them.
Yeah. We are with the next couple weeks coming up. There's a bunch of new movies coming out, so we're gonna be doing some new movie reviews.
Yeah, it's not always gonna be the 2 review format either, because we got some. You know, we're gonna have one that's gonna have 3, and then one that's gonna have 1. So it's gonna be fun though. It's gonna be. We're gonna try to integrate more discussion into every episode. I think.
Yeah.
There may or may not be spoilers too.
No, there's not may or may not. We're gonna fucking spoil them. Watch them.
That's the next shirt design. Right. We're gonna get into spoilers now or something like that.
Yeah, we're gonna spoil them. Just watch them.
Which I mean, I guess that's another thing off the bat we can mention. We're hopefully gonna have some merch designs for you guys coming up. So look out for that. So I guess we can just kind of chat really quick about what movies or cool shit we've seen recently. We're obviously all going to start the Snyder Cut, so we'll be talking about that next week. And I've just watched a bunch of trash horror movies. But I did watch 2 horror movies that are really good that are newer. Freaky, which we've all been wanting to see.
Mm-hmm. I want to see that.
Which I can report is awesome. Vince Vaughn is awesome in it. And also another dude, like he was like a huge like AAA comedy guy. And now he's another guy that kind of just does shit he wants to do. Have
you seen Cell Block on 99?
No.
Dude, that movie is a brutal fucking movie. And if you've seen Dragged Across Concrete, you'll know that as well. Same directors. So the whole thing is like he gets out of prison, he's trying to lead a normal life, and kind of gets like sucked back into it in a way where he agrees to go back to prison. And by the end of the movie, he literally stomps a guy's head off in graphic detail. Like I would watch this, and it's the one where he's like got his head shaved, and he looks weird. But it's also at the phase of his life where he started getting in better shape, and he like started doing jujitsu in real life. So, like, he looks healthy. It's just like, holy shit, you look like Vince Vaughn 20 years ago, just a little bit haggard. But I still love Vince Vaughn. He can come out, as long as he doesn't bring out another fucking babysitter movie like he brought out that one. I don't even remember what it was called, but he was like, just do good stuff. Dragged Across Concrete was boring as fuck, but it's not his fault. He did the lines well.
I feel like every star has to do every person we like has to do a movie like that. I mean, like, what did Mel Gibson do? What is it? What Women Want or whatever?
Yeah, well, you can't count that. No, What Women Want wasn't like a family stupid comedy though. Like, trying to think what he did, if he did anything that would be considered that. I mean, he had goofy stuff like Bird on a Wire. He had that movie with Goldie Hawn, which actually might be Bird on a Wire. Then he had Air America with Robert Downey Jr. Like, he had goofy shit, but I don't know if he's ever done like The Rock,
romantic comedy type shit.
Well, The Rock and the Tooth Fairy.
The only star to me who went in that direction, but it still was a good movie. Like, I think a good movie is Twins. Arnold
and DeVito.
Here's the thing, though. When was the last time you watched Twins?
Oh no, it's a shitty movie.
No. I know I like the movie, but it's not as family as you think it is.
Yeah, it's not family friendly.
Like, that's the thing. Is like, I would say Junior is that movie for me. That was like Twins. Literally, people are murdered, gunned down in that movie. There's like, it's not nearly as family friendly as you think.
I think you're right. Junior would probably, but Junior's a stupid movie. But
Maverick was PG.
Maverick was like a romantic comedy.
Action adventure comedy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Maverick.
That's as close as he really came. But I mean, here's the thing though. Like, even if let's say he had one of those movies, just go watch the first 25 minutes of The Patriot, and it all washes away. Like, realistically, like in one movie I can't find online is Payback, because they released the director's cut, which was awful, and they ended up pulling them both off. I want to watch it so bad. Can't buy it anywhere. Nowhere streaming. Not even the original cut.
I don't know what my full list would be, but I think if I did a top 5 Mel Gibson movies, The Patriot and the first Lethal Weapon would be up there.
Oh yeah.
Mel Gibson was in Casper, uncredited.
Apparently, was he one of the ghosts, or?
I have no idea. It says he was uncredited, so
Probably a cameo, like Dan Aykroyd as what's his face from Ghostbusters in that too.
Yeah.
It's probably when they were like when they were out in the shops or something. I don't know. Mel Gibson's hard because it's like, for me, Patriot would be in the top 5. Lethal Weapon, clearly. But then you've got things like, I do love Payback. That's one of my favorite Mel Gibson movies. If you haven't seen that one, if you can find it, let me know, because I'll buy it on the spot. But that one's really good. He's got a lot of good shit, though. I'd have to go through his IMDb instead of trying to just do it like top of my head.
he was in Daddy's Home too.
Yeah. Okay, so there you go. But even, I mean, that's a newer school version of that. You at least had like Will Ferrell. But yeah, that's, I guess. Oh god damn! I forgot about all these. See, this is hard. How do you do a top 5 for him when you've got Braveheart, Ransom, Conspiracy Theory, all movies I love? I mean, even in like his later movies weren't bad. Get the Gringo was good. The Beaver was good. Bloodfather's good. Drag Across Concrete's boring as fuck. Signs I liked. We Were Soldiers is decent.
Oh, I totally forgot he was in Signs.
Chicken Run he's in. I didn't know that. Payback.
Yeah, he was the voice in Chicken Run. He was also a voice in Pocahontas.
I love Conspiracy Theory. I love Ransom.
I like Edge of Darkness.
Dumb ending though.
Yeah.
Air America never watched. Hamlet didn't watch. Mad Max, of course. We didn't even name that. Any of them we didn't name. Then it kind of like before that he isn't. He's just in Australia. But dude, he's got a list on him, and he's still got shit coming out. He's got Last Looks is completed. Panama's post-production. Dangerous post-production. Agent Game post-production. Professor and the Madman I really want to see. Force of Nature looked dumb. Fat Man was awesome. Boss Level was pretty decent, even though he didn't have a big role in it, and we'll talk about that here soon. But yeah, let's get back. Sorry, let's get back to the movie, or what we were talking about. What we were watching, right?
Yeah.
I think everybody knows that. Like, I'm literally I haven't been this excited for movies coming to a streaming service in a long time. I can't fucking wait for Godzilla. I'm really excited to watch the Snyder. And by the way, I want everybody who criticized Snyder and how all these assholes on Twitter, all I hear every IGN article, why do you keep talking about this movie? Suck a dick. Because every reviewer is like, this thing's fucking amazing. Like, he does it justice. It's superb. And it's like, there was a lot of hate. Like, it's not going to change the way the movie is. It's still going to suck. And it's like, but that's exactly what he did. And you fuckers didn't give him any, like, if he would have had any fan support, Warner Brothers may have rethought what they were doing. So if you are now watching Justice League, the Snyder Cut, and you're thinking, holy shit, I wish they would have gone with Snyder's vision, it's your fucking fault they aren't. It's not his, it's not Warner. Had you had the guys back and pushed for it, they would have gone through with it, because they would have said, okay, well, these people do care about it. But instead you said, every asshole online was, oh, fuck the DC Universe, Marvel movies are better, Snyder sucks, he does nothing but, and it's like, way to go. Now you have a hollow universe. You've created this garbage universe by fracturing it, by not having any loyalty.
Yeah, and I was telling Matt off air, like, that's why horror is my genre, because I mean, when you get to like the popcorn flicks like Conjuring, I'm sure there's studio meddling, but in all of horror, like, just people make the shit they want, and I wish.
Look at Insidious. Insidious had big stars, and that movie was fucked up.
I wish these comic book movies weren't like held by the balls because of the properties that they are.
Well, here's the thing. I would argue that the reason why Marvel is so successful in what they've made is because they do offer a fair amount of freedom. Like, you go and you listen to what's his face making Suicide Squad, and they gave him freedom, but the way he talks is reminiscent of how every director who's worked with Marvel talks, except for Edgar Wright. He's the only one that they butted heads because that's why he left the Ant-Man franchise, because they wanted to go in a direction he didn't want to, which I'm assuming means he was like, fuck your universe, I'm making a movie, is what I'm going to assume happened. But from what I've read, mostly Marvel's a little, like, they're hands-on, especially when you're talking properties, and they have their roadmap, so you have to kind of fit it in. But James Gunn, the way he talked about when he's doing Guardians of the Galaxy, he says he's got a lot of freedom in what he does. So I don't know, man. And the problem is you put so much into it, you can't just rewrite the map at this point, because if you reboot the DC universe, you look like fools. Mm-hmm. You spent 15 years of you've wasted billions for what? Now, in my opinion, I love I like the Superman movie. I like Batman vs Superman, but I'm a Snyder fan. Watchmen's one of my favorite movies. I think he's a good director. I do agree he tends to do the music video shit thing, but I like that. I'm an old 80s movie guy. Think of any 80s movie, think of any major scene, there's a soundtrack there. Whether you realize it or not, it's subliminally in your mind. Think of the movies that do have a strong influence on that and why you love them. Look at Grosse Pointe Blank. You love that movie. Every scene in that movie that you remember as being a favorite scene has a fucking song associated with it.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, man. I'm a big fan of that sort of thing. So it's like, I'm really excited to watch it. I'm an easygoing guy when it comes to certain things. What pisses me off about it, more or less, is Warner Brothers. If I watch it and I truly do love it that much more than the original theatrical release of Justice League, why the fuck are we screwing with it? Why aren't we letting this guy continue his universe? Now it's literally people are watching it and he's just tweeting out, yeah, this would have been Justice League 3. Lois and Superman's baby would have been Batman. Like, he's just telling people what his whole roadmap was now. So it's like, then you hear this shit and you're like, fuck. Apparently the Justice League 4-hour cut has a lot more Cyborg. So then you start thinking, okay, what really did go down with Whedon? If there was a lot more Cyborg and made him a real character, and then in Whedon's cut, he's diminished to basically nothing. Was there a racial issue? Was there a issue of Whedon using his power to minimize Ray Fisher? And that brings up a whole host of different things. Like, that's the real problem with this cut, in my eyes, is not the movie itself. It's what it opens up to be shown. Because if this thing's as good as what I'm reading, that means that the studio not only participated, but did enable fuckery by Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
On a lot of accounts. And it's like, why?
It's sad. I'm only an hour or so in the Snyder Cut, but I was watching it with my wife. And she was asking me, like, well, why did this come out years later? Why did Joss Whedon? And I told her, I was like, it's kind of sad when you think about it, because Zack Snyder is such a huge DC fanboy. Him getting to do Batman vs Superman and Justice League, like he said, like, were dreams for him. And his daughter killed herself. She committed suicide, and he had to leave the project. So to get your dream project and then, like, your family is shattered.
Let's be clear. They forced him out.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't make he was under some shit and he was probably like, maybe I should just step away. They fired him.
They could have said, let's take some time.
Because they fired him and they brought in that cunt, Joss Whedon, and they said, make this more like the Avengers. And that's why what I'm reading is true. If it's true, this movie's got a much darker tone, because the original Justice League felt like you went to ghetto Disney World. And it was like, we're a good theme park, and then you get on them and they're all just rip-offs. Like, that's what the original Justice League felt like, and it sucked. Like, there was scenes that you could see as you watch, you're like, fuck, I'd like to see, like, this rumored Snyder's version. That was the biggest thing about that movie, is you watched it to be like, damn, I wonder what they would have done with this.
Check out the first 2 episodes of Teen Titans on fucking the DC on HBO Max.
Is that a children's
It's really good. No, it's darker. It's the Teen Titans from the DC universe, but it's darker. It's got that shit in there.
I have to watch that Doom Squad show or whatever.
Doom Patrol?
Doom Patrol, yeah.
That's really good too. I finished the whole thing.
I think what you said a couple minutes ago is probably the perfect way to sum up the Snyder Cut, though, is really when you're watching this movie, you should think like, oh, the studio fucked with a lot of shit. Like,
wow, the studio abandoned all of this. Like,
It
think
kinda-
about
it
that.
kinda makes
This whole
them-
product that's out there, the studio trashed.
it makes them look bad when you think about it.
Well, it also opens up that discussion of you see the inside of the industry, of where it's like, if a studio is willing to take all of that and throw it away, like literally the original movie is an hour and like 56 minutes. This is 4 hours long. Clearly, even if you would have had a 2.5 hour long version of what they released, you fucked with some shit. And nobody wants to believe that. And that's another thing where it's like, I don't think on Marvel's side, at least in the movie portion, you see as much of that fuckery.
Yeah, and it's man. I guess we'll go in more into it next
Alex,
week.
I think
but-
Alex had something to say though.
Oh, good.
No, it's still about the whole whatever watching thing, or we're just going on something else.
No. I know you had a thought, and I wanted to make sure you got it out.
No, as far as the Snyder Cut or the DC, I don't know.
I thought you were
But,
going to say something, and then I spoke, so I thought I cut you off.
No. I had nothing to go on for that. I was just waiting for.
So please go on.
Yeah.
Spotlight's on you.
But definitely check out Doom Patrol, and you'll like it. I saw the first 2 seasons. The third one's coming out sometime this year, or maybe the beginning of next year.
I plan to. It's just every time
Isn't
we go to,
Brandon
like,
Fraser's fucking
Yeah.
voiceover shit is fucking.
That's,
I love it.
Is it bad that he's the reason I have any interest in that show? Like
No,
I like the
he
Mummy
fucking makes
movies.
it.
I Blast from the Past is like my favorite romantic. Well, no, I'm sorry, that's not true. That's number 2. Favorite romantic comedy is America's Sweethearts. If you've never watched that movie and you need a movie to watch with your significant other that's not a fucking snooze fest, I've got 3 for you. America's Sweethearts.
Leprechaun.
Leprechaun in Las Vegas. It's romantic. Fuck it. What are the other 2 that I was going to say? Lewis cut me off and I completely lost track. Son of a bitch.
On the Line or something like that.
God, no, it was not on. You keep pushing. We'll be doing On the Line fucking McCall's Navy. Keep pushing me. Think I won't do it. I got it on Vudu. There's no fucking excuses. You want to know why I have it on Vudu? Because it's all right. I was gonna say it's a good movie. It's not a good movie. It is an entertaining movie. It is one of those movies that you can watch, and like very few movies in my life, because I have ADD and depression and anxiety, allows me to shut my brain off. This is one of the few movies that I could watch and be stupid for an hour. And it's the
That's On the Line you're talking about, right?
Keep it up. Keep it up. I'll goddamn buy. How much is On the Line? I'm gonna look it up right the fuck now. You keep fucking with me. So I have my sound effects still triggered, so that on the episode you're gonna hear doo doo. Please be on sale. Oh,
Is it a
$12.99.
4K cut? Oh no.
oh, $12.99.
It's 4K.
I'm gonna have a fucking heart attack. No, it's not. Why would they put this movie in 4K? Who the fuck wants to see this movie? I like how there's that Emmanuel Shikri chick from Super Troopers 2 and Zohan.
Yeah.
She's the romantic lead, right? They have Lance Bass, and I shouldn't pull it up. Well, Lance Bass is on the cover, and she's got her arm around him. Once again, Lance Bass is the romantic lead. And Joey Fatone is in the back, like a small little image with a guitar. And her name's not on the cover at all. It just says Lance Bass, Joey Fatone.
So it's geared towards the fans, not.
It's geared towards people who like shitty fucking movies. Simple as that. I'm not spending that fucking money on that movie. You buy it. You want to watch it? You want to review it? You buy it.
I'm good.
Fuck that. Garbage. If I find it for $4.99, sure, why not?
No, but one of the other things that I did while we were away, I finally watched the Lost Boys the original with my youngest daughter, and she was like, the part that she loved the most was when they started killing all the vampires. And I was like, okay.
Why do
Like,
these
all right.
vampires look different than True Blood? What? Twilight
Those
vampires
were-
sparkle.
No, that would be my other daughter saying, why do they look different from Twilight?
Those
They're not
were
sparkling.
the original sexy vampires, I guess.
So
Yeah.
I just watched a extended / deleted cuts from the last Lost Boys movie with Corey Haim and Feldman.
No,
And
it's
there's
not.
The sequel.
Dude, they're terrible actors. Like, I know you like them, Alex, but they're god awful. They were never good actors.
Yeah.
Like,
I know
why?
that.
Why does everybody love these? Why are they beloved? They're morons. Like, the only thing Corey Feldman's ever done that I actually legitimately like is Ninja Turtles, and it's just his fucking voice. Like, why do people like them? Like, you're a fan. Tell me, why do you like the fucking ridiculous Corys?
He looks
Because
like a lizard person
When
too.
we were young,
He does.
when we were young and we were up late watching fucking videos or movies or whatever, because you know that's what you do when you smoke pot. You fucking watch movies all night long.
See, I didn't smoke pot until
Those are
I
the
was
only
in
movies that were on.
college, so I didn't get. My dad would have beat me until my lips were so swollen I couldn't possibly do it anyways. So, yeah, I never touched the shit until college, so I never got that fun. You were over here like, yeah, I was watching Lost Boys, jerking off, smoking weed, whatever. Not in that order.
But when you watch those movies late at night, that was what was always on.
So is River Phoenix, if he was alive, one of those dudes that you'd be a big fan of now too?
Yep.
River Phoenix.
Not now. Not
Well-
now. Then.
Well, to be fair though, River Phoenix, if he was alive, probably would have done some good shit. I mean, he's a good.
Probably.
He was a good actor. He wasn't a Haim or a Feldman. He was a legitimate good actor.
Did he overdose or
He overdosed outside of
Outside
Johnny
of a
Depp's
club.
partially owned nightclub called the Venom, right on the street.
I think if he didn't overdose that night, it would have been eventually, though.
Yeah.
Well, look at guys like Ledger. He got sunk into the role. He was on a lot of pain meds, and probably wasn't a suicide. Probably just mixed the wrong shit at the wrong time together, and you don't wake up from that.
Yeah.
Sad. I mean, the problem with Ledger dying is it changed the entire course of that Nolan trilogy. Number 3 would have been way better because Joker. Because Nolan did interviews and he stated that Joker wasn't the main villain. Two-Face was. Joker was the side piece. Number 3 would have had Joker busting out of Arkham as the main villain. And it's just like, fuck, man. I wish that would have come to fruition because that would have been a much. I'm one of those people where I don't find Batman 3 to be all that great. It's good.
I don't know.
I don't like the ending.
People cite Dark Knight as one of Ledger's best movie, and in my head, I'm like, A Knight's Tale.
Dude, I was just going to say, has anyone seen A Knight's Tale? But no, I'm in that camp. That's like, and I'm a 10 Things I Hate About You fan, but Ledger, the Joker, that's what. It's not just his best role; it's one of the best characters ever. The way he portrays it, it's going to go down in history as one of the most iconic performances ever done. It'll be right up there with all the greats. You know, when you start seeing in 50 years when they do those like the quick cuts of all the years of movies for an anniversary, Dark Knight's Ledger will be in there.
Yeah. And not awkward Batman who can't turn his neck.
I mean, you want to like, and here's the thing: people
It won't be. Yeah.
people can say like, you know, they want to talk shit about his acting, but like, look at the scene where he does the magic trick, and it's all the little nuances from like where he's like, you think you can just come in here and rob us, and he's like, yeah, like those little subtle kind of the inflections in the voice and everything. Like it was a great performance, and the other thing is, you know, some of that stuff was him. It wasn't the role; it was him being the role, which, you know. Unfortunately, the way they kind of write it down is what ended up killing him.
Didn't
he was so absorbed
didn't they
in
say
it.
he didn't break character that much on set?
No, he's a method actor.
Which, you know, can we cut it out with the method acting? You still go back to a fucking plush hotel in the middle of the jungle when you like, enough with the method acting. Be what
you mean
are.
like Jared Leto on Suicide Squad sending people dead rats and stuff?
Yeah,
That dude's a
you know,
loser.
If you send me a dead rat, I know if I'm Will Smith, right? And I know the industry, I know the agents, I know I can get your address. You send me a dead rat, I'm coming to your home with a weapon. Fuck you. That's weird.
Yeah. Man, now that I'm watching the Snyder Cut and you brought up Dark Knight, I think I'm gonna watch that after.
Dude, but there's things about that movie that I never even noticed for some reason. Like when I first saw it in theaters, and I think it's because we had to sit closer and it was the IMAX. I never noticed that on top of the money pile are the goons until when I watched it on Blu-ray when I got it home. Like when he burns the money, there's 2 guys on top of that. But I never noticed that in the theater. There are scenes about Batman 3, like the Bane. Any scene Bane is in with Batman is a good scene. Because they're well directed. Like, Nolan is a great action, and we've talked about this, is a great action director, but a piss poor everything else director, in my opinion. Like, the connecting scenes that he puts in between the awesome scenes are boring as shit. It is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, I like Nolan. I don't agree with him on what the industry is right now. And then you hear all these, like, theaters are starting to open up. So what?
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
You've literally given us a year of fucking panic and worried and don't go outside or the COVID's going to get you. You think I'm going to be one of these happy assholes to get in line day one to go sit next to other happy assholes? Not going to happen. Sorry.
Yeah, but I can't imagine people are going to flock to them in the numbers that they're wanting. I think you're still going to see premium VOD along with
you're going to have to
theater release.
Whether they like it or not. The industry has changed. People were willing to be uncomfortable and do away with convenience for the environment, they are no longer going to be willing to do that. The comfort and convenience of being home, being able to pause it to go take a piss,
or make something to eat.
Exactly. You don't have to spend $10 for nachos. Hey, I went to fucking Sam's Club. I got chips and cheese. I'm good. Like, that's the thing is, like,
microwave.
Well,
air fryer.
What you're saying is even tenfold for parents. I mean, your kid's not behaving, pause the movie. Like,
you got, well, hell, and especially for big fan, you got 3 kids all within a couple years of each other. Even if those are the type of people that can justify the $30 for Mulan.
Yeah.
If it sits them down and shuts them up so I can go get some peace, it's worth the price. And that's where I understand that argument.
Drink some mom juice or dad juice while they're watching their fucking movie.
We go by the Michael Jackson standard. It's Jesus juice. Thank you very much. So,
I thought you were going to say popsicles.
No, Jesus juice. You have some Jesus juice.
You want some popsicles? I got some popsicles over here.
Fuck Michael Jackson. So, like, that's the thing is, like, and you guys are both parents. Now, I know your daughters are older, but Lewis, you got a little guy. I mean, it's got to be the idea that, like, you have all this content on demand at your fingertips. I'd imagine you never need to go back to a movie theater again at the way you feel now.
Oh yeah, so I started watching Snyder Cut. Granted, that's a 4-hour movie.
I'm 1 mile into my fucking 10K.
But like, yeah, I mean, I grew up in Chicago. Granted, I live outside of Chicago now. But what do you think a movie theater ticket for not matinee cost now?
Not matinee, I'm going to say
about 16, 17.
For IMAX or regular screen, not matinee?
Probably regular.
Regular screen, not matinee is at least $13.
$13. So, I mean, granted, any non-standard like premium VOD for a movie, you're probably looking at like $12 to $15. New movies, you're looking at $20. But you do that, you get it for 48 hours. It like if
from the time you start.
Yeah, and a lot of new movies are coming by instead of just rent. So you spend $20 to rent, or you spend $20 to buy, and you own it. And here's the thing: just like movie theaters, I didn't go see movies I thought I wasn't gonna like. Like, so if I eat $20 on a movie that just I happen to not like, I at least own it. I can give it another shot later on. Like, even if I have to rent it for $15, if it's a movie I really want to see, that's still cheaper than going to the theater, because there's not the $8, you know. And the other thing is, I don't drink soda anymore. I'm trying not to eat a lot of junk shit. So like any concession that you can think of doesn't apply to me. They don't allow me to vape in there, which I understand, but still it's a negative. Like, I'm just my negatives. I can't bring my water bottle in. Like, for me, it's also a big inconvenience.
Also, depending on where you're at, you might have to pay for parking. There might not be street parking.
Not only that, but you're wearing a mask in the whole time now. You know, we're now used to watching content. It's immediate. You're not waiting for a showtime. That's a big thing. But you're also used to watching at your home, on your TV, and your monitor. You're not wearing a mask at home. You're comfortable. People are going to, even the first waves that do flock are going to understand it's a much more uncomfortable experience than they thought it's going to be.
Yeah, I think theaters are going to need to transition to, like, you need to give me, like, a premium experience for me to go there.
I said it when they really started to break everything apart. I said, do private screenings, and they started to kind of, but they're
doing that right now.
Yeah, but dude, I went to
have to rent out.
I went to Country Club Hills, And one of the biggest Marcus out here is just. This was after it snowed, and it had been not operational for so long that they didn't even plow that area of the parking lot. And this had 2 feet of snow on it at that point. So it's like, it's depressing when you fucking drive by these places.
Yeah.
Because I used to love movie theaters, but I'm not gonna lie, I stopped going to movie theaters 3 months before COVID hit, or 6 months. I got tired of the prices, and frankly, I got tired of paying money for worse quality than my home theater provides. And I have a fucking sound bar.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
3 or 4 years for me.
we had talked about that before. Like, so many movie theaters have shitty screens, and it's like, you're charging me all this money, and you can't have proper equipment.
And then people say, well, like, you're getting to see the movie, and it's the whole thing of like, excuse me. I like to break things down. Movie theaters aren't just you're watching a movie. It's the environment, aka atmosphere. It's the building. It's the bathrooms. It's the concessions. It's the sound. It's the screen. It's the chairs. It's all of that combined. And when you start making things like you're less comfortable because you're in the chair, but you got to wear a mask, and you can get concessions, but you wait in this line. You got to be 6 feet apart, and you can get sodas, but you can, like when things start becoming less comfortable, the lack of convenience starts becoming more and more prevalent. And I think that's a problem you're going to see, is just people are going to have this idea of like, I enjoyed being able just to rent the movie on iTunes or Vudu or Roku or Xbox or Amazon, you name it, Hulu, you name it, I can watch these movies.
We've also said it before. We talked about it on previous episodes. People have spent a lot of money on their sound systems now for their fucking TVs.
I did. I bought a soundbar.
Well, you also have the flip side of like, people don't have money for that. So people are content with watching movies on their laptop. You have a lot of people out there that don't give a shit, that don't care about sound quality, that are just as happy with headphones plugged into a laptop sitting on their bed.
Well, yeah. Depends on what time I'm watching movies. I put these on. I'm in the theater.
Yeah, exactly. So and yeah, these go 7.1 as well. So like I told Jen earlier, because she went and cooked dinner instead. But I told her, I was like, I'll watch Dark and Wicked on my PC. It's fine. I got the headphones 7.1, although not recommended, because that movie's got some creepy fucking sound effects in it.
Yeah.
We'll get into the movie a little bit. Lewis, what is the first movie we're doing? We'll round robin back to this later.
Yeah, so first movie we chose, it's The Dark and the Wicked. I chose this because I wanted to make the other boys so depressed.
Thank you.
No, so this movie was supposed to premiere at a festival. I can't find the festival, but this movie just
Festival
got
of
like
Lights.
murdered by COVID. Another one of those movies that kind of just got thrown under the rug.
This movie does remind me, if you guys haven't seen it, I don't know where you could find it, but the movie called We Are Still Here.
We're Still Here. That sounds familiar.
That one's
We Are Here.
No, it's We Are Still Here.
We Are Still Here?
Yeah. That was a
Okay.
movie about this demonic presence that literally manifested into these like fire human creatures. Really good. This movie reminded me a lot of it. We Are Still Here is a little bit faster paced. But if you like this movie, check out We Are Still. I'll double check that it's We Are Still Here, but I'm almost positive that it is. But sorry, Lewis, go on.
Oh yeah, so this movie's called The Dark and the Wicked. This is another movie put out by RLJE Films, so they do a lot of like Shudder exclusive and stuff like that. So this movie, I couldn't find a budget for it, but box office that it made was $422,000.
Not bad, considering it's got to be a fairly low budget title.
Oh yeah. Runtime of 93 minutes. This is directed by Brian Bertino, who, if that name sounds familiar, he did the second The Strangers movie, Pray at Night.
I have never seen that one.
It's actually pretty good. He also he wrote that one. He directed the first one though, which I also like the first one.
I do like the first one quite a bit. That is a movie that Jen won't watch with me because we like to go hang out in the woods when we go camping and shit. So that's a little too close to home. By the way, We Are Still Here is on Amazon Prime. It's a ghost story, basically haunted by vengeful spirits, where these things will manifest into like these fire demon creatures. It's a really cool fucking movie. I encourage you to check it out, especially if you like this movie.
Is it 2015?
Yeah. 2015, yeah.
Okay.
Short movie too. It's only an hour and 23 minutes long. It's a quick one. The one guy I think you'll recognize from Your Next, I think is what he was in.
Oh shit! I am gonna have to check this out.
I like this movie a lot. I can't get Jen to watch it with me because it's one of the movies that's just too fucked up for her. See, Jen has a level of like she can only accept so much violence or so much terror. Like she can deal with The Conjuring because it's moments, and I try to help her out with movies I've seen before where I will literally be like, it's gonna be a jump scare right now. Like I'll tell her it's gonna be a jump scare just to try to get like alleviated, but it's still. She's just never been a fan of them. But once again, her dad failed her. He didn't, my dad didn't open me up to horror movies. He was actually anti-horror movie. That's what turned me on to him even more.
Yeah, and I don't know, for me, jump scares never did it for me. Like, no. I like movies like this that, like, it ends and you're just like, I'm sad now.
Can I just say that the ending is as non-cliche as it's supposed to be, ends up being a big cliche.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's supposed to be the artsy, like, quick cut. Oh no, you know what happened there. Show it to me. Hereditary did it perfectly because they fucking showed it. They didn't make you wonder. They went, you know what? You know how fucked up that first act was? Gotcha. Because then they, I don't know, man.
Technically, our second movie, the ending is also like it's almost like a nope.
And that's the most frustrating part of Boss Level for me, and we'll go into it, is the ending of just like it is one of those things where they build up the entire movie. It's almost like no, you don't get the climax. It's like, what? I didn't pay for bondage. I want to be happy. Let me see the fucking movie.
Actually, the end of the movie was pretty much blue balls.
Yeah, it is. Like you expect to go into what you expected to go into. Like you expect. When a movie builds it up like that, I want the Equilibrium ending. I want him going through hallways, slaughtering fucking dudes to the final boss, who he then slaughters two of them. He slaughters Taye Diggs, and then the other fat Weasley guy who apparently can fucking twist tangle the guns like Christian fucking Bale can somehow. That's the worst scene in the movie because the guy is so pudgy, so all it is fucking cheesy CGI and fake pistols by his pudgy fat fucking face, and you get to see like Christian Bale, he's all jacked and lean and cut, he's got to fight fucking fat fuck pudgy guy. It's like Taye Diggs should have been the main guy. Let pudgy guy get taken out easy. Just saying.
That's a taste of the second movie we're going to review. So the Dark and the Wicked, just to give you first it's on Shudder. So if you have Shudder, who should sponsor us at this point, go really check it out.
We recommend you for like everything. Half the fucking movies come from you. Hey, stop. Sorry guys. Sorry.
So yeah, this movie, it's basically this family in Texas are haunted by this entity. Would you say this movie is kind of a slow burn?
Very much so. But here's the thing, it's not like a traditional slow burn that's like where you sit there and you're like, get to the point. Every scene has something creepy, whether it be the phone call where it's the post-mortem of the mother where it's like, you shouldn't have come. Like, that stuff really does deliver well. The pop-out shit works well because you know it's coming. They don't hide it, but they still do it kind of nice where it's, none of it's real. But they still, they achieve the tension. It's a slower movie, but I didn't feel like, God, this movie needs to get moving.
Yeah, the sheep fucking alarm was pissing me off.
Oh, the goats?
Were they goats or sheep?
They were goats.
I think they were goats.
Yeah.
I think they were
really? I thought they were sheep.
They were goats because remember when they get slaughtered, there's all the horns laying around? Those are goats.
I think we're being racist.
Fucking sheep.
I
believe it was sheep because when I watched the subtitles, I think it said sheep blight. Like it was when they would neigh, it said sheeps.
I kind of want you to Google it right now just so you can prove yourself wrong.
I don't know.
I'd love to make a bet with you on this if you would. Bet you 300 bells.
Doesn't really give a good plot synopsis on.
Just Google The Dark and the Wicked farm and look up images. So it looks like I'm
a sheep goat hybrid.
To Shope.
Shoot.
Looks like I'm not going to be able to order vape fluids online anymore starting the 26th.
Why is that?
The USPS is not shipping anything vape related to customers. It's only business to business. So now I unfortunately don't think after that time we'll be able to order from my favorite vape fluid company. And I'm going to have to be subject to in-store fucking prices. The good
Not
news
if
is
we
I do have...
Turn this into an LLC and we can be a business at your home.
You know, you say that, and Jen and I were actually just talking about that, taking Nerd, because I have the trademark, taking Nerditude and turning it into an, like, the thing is, and this little sneak peek, everybody who's watching this, when you do watch it, we just ordered the first run of shirts. We're checking them out. If we like them, if they're decent quality, we're going to start selling them to you guys. If and when that does happen, I'll start the LLC. I'll start Nerditude LLC. See what you need. I know it's not a ton of money. You just got to do permit and stuff like that. And there's a whole tax thing with it, which I can do. But no, that's on the docket. If we start doing merchandise, there will be a Nerditude LLC. So, depending on if I need anything further, we'll see about that. You are correct. I had that thought. Believe me, I thought of that one too.
The one with the tripod, it does look like a goat. But there were a couple scenes where they look like sheep too. But yeah, the one where where the animal's limping and it's got the 3 legs.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a goat.
It's a goat.
Yeah, this movie and Ari Aster's 2 films. There's something weird about just an old naked person just standing there. That's really creepy.
Well, you know where that started, right? You know where it started. The Shining.
Sixth Sense.
The Shining.
Oh yeah, it's Shining. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When he goes into the hotel room, that's where that whole when you look at the grandmother in this movie post-mortem, it's very Shining-esque how they make her look. She's very deformed in the face and bloated and.
She likes to get close to you and to talk to you.
Well, you gotta smell her breath to understand where she's coming from.
So this movie does have another scene that stuck out to me, and it's the mom cutting her fingers off in the kitchen.
Yes, and continuing
carrots.
Yeah, continuing to dice them is the biggest thing with that scene.
In my head, I compared it to the Color Out of Space, which has a similar scene.
Yeah.
This one was a lot worse. Speaking of the Color Out of Space, the director of that movie, Richard Stanley, he got fired from the following 2 H.P. Lovecraft movies because it turns out he's horribly abusive to women. Horribly abusive.
Well, that's great.
He's an interesting guy. He was hired to direct the Island of Dr. Moreau or whatever.
Interesting. By interesting, you mean piece of shit?
No, the original Alex.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he was fired
for abusing women.
No, I don't know what he was fired for, but he ended up going a little crazy and would show up on set dressed as like extras. So he kept trying to sneak into his own movie.
I'm sorry, that's funny.
Yeah, he was a weird guy. But now Spectrovision, I don't know if there's going to be 2 more H.P. Lovecraft movies. So
you know what?
Awesome.
I don't dislike that movie. I am a little disappointed on the lack of sci-fi. I liked the horror, and I was surprised by it. I did wish he'd have a little bit more sci-fi in there, to be honest with you.
No, if he would have done his second film, which was the Dunwich Horror, that would have been pretty cool. But back to this movie. So I would say this movie kind of made me think of like Hereditary in the like the style.
Yeah, both movies do a really good job of creating a very lonely, desperate atmosphere.
Yeah, it's a bleak fucking movie, man.
Here's the thing, it's really good though. Like I think if people watch and listen to the show, they understand that we rip movies apart. Movies we love, movies we hate. We're gonna tell you every negative because as a consumer ourselves, we'd want to know what the negatives are. Lewis and I have had discussions. Alex, we've all had discussions where it's like, "How was this movie?" No, it's pretty good. Was it like good or just kind of okay? Well, it was all right, but that like, and we're honest about them. But the movie's still good. Like if you're looking for something in the horror genre that gets away from the standard of what you're seeing, it's decent. It's the horror equivalent of No Country for Old Men. It's well acted. It's well written. It's in the Southwest with Tejas. They're on a ranch by themselves or farm by themselves. Like it's a very isolated movie to the point where I really did feel bad for the main actress in this movie at several parts. Like when her brother leaves, just fucking takes off. That scene was hard to watch.
I before that happened though, I was like, okay, if this guy does not fucking get up and leave, there's something wrong with him.
They all need to.
But then he's like, he leaves, but he leaves his sister.
Yeah, leaves her
he
behind.
fucking leaves his sister. I'm like,
doesn't even say
that's
anything.
fucked up.
Yeah.
Just fucking bolts in the middle of the night.
Yeah, that part for me was like, dude, what a piece of. But that's why I didn't feel bad. Spoiler alert: when he cuts his own fucking throat.
Yeah.
And that scene when he walks in and she's not looking at all. She's looking at her fucking phone because she's hearing me go, fuck. Because I'm watching it, I know what he's gonna see. I know as soon as he walks in and the one bedroom's empty. In my head, I'm going. The
record is playing.
But in my head, I'm going, this isn't real. I know this isn't real, but I know what's going to happen. So of course he goes in, he finds all three of them with their throats slit, and the only it's silent as we're watching. You just hear me going, "Oh fuck," and then and I was like, "They're all dead." Like I'm just like, "They're all fucking dead," and I was like, "But this isn't real." And she's like, "What?" And I'm like, "I'm talking to myself. Play your phone." But yeah, so he sees them. He thinks, "Oh shit, they're all dead." Literally cut. Like, by the way, it is a pretty manly way to kill yourself, I guess. But like, why? Like, if I walked into my house and found my wife dead, my first thought wouldn't be to grab the knife and cut my own throat. Like, I'm not that fucking like loyal. Like, I'm not going to the grave with you. So it was a weird way to do it. And then of course, like he finally looks up and they're not there, and he basically has that look of like, oh fuck me.
That is the second time that he was with the knife. Because the first time was in the bar.
Yeah, I think multiple times.
That was the haunted object that he took with him.
Yeah, so there was something that was pushing him.
But sorry, Lewis, go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say I do like that this movie plays around with the scares in that it's not like a Conjuring or whatever where there's like this creature that they keep shoving in your face like this is scary. I like movies like this and Hereditary and Midsommar that kind of dance around the scary thing, and it's more like we're going to give you a bunch of tension instead of just like jump scares.
It's also kind of psychological because it's giving them images of people.
Well, this also does the Freddy Krueger thing of twisting what's reality and what's not, and I like that quite a bit. I'm starting with some of these reviews. I'm okay with spoiling them, but I don't want to. The movies like these, you don't want to. I don't know. I feel like deep diving. You're just telling that basically like typecasting what the movie is. Where you're just like, well, this happens. Mm-hmm. So if you guys are okay with it, if you got anything final you want to say about it, let's do that, and then we'll give it a rating.
Yeah, I'm totally okay with that. Like I said, I think it's worth checking out. And Shudder, you need to sponsor us, goddammit. You can find like
give us a show. Give us a show on Shudder where we just talk about horror movies. We could fill hours.
Shudder always does like month. I will. They always do like month free trials.
Hey, me.
This is I'd say check it out. They have a bunch of cool shit. They're not even paying me.
Right. Yeah, I'm just thinking, wouldn't it be funny if I just threw a graphic up that said like sponsored by Shutters and it's just an image of Shutters?
Yeah. Make sure you put Shutters, not Shutter.
I think I'm going to throw that in there. It's going to be Shutters, Utters. It's going to be an image of just Shutters.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's to end it on me before I rate it. Just check it out.
For me, I liked it, man. Yeah. It was kind of predictable, and like you were saying, in ways. But it wasn't a lot of bad acting either, except for the one sister, Louise. she did kind of aggravate me a little bit, but it wasn't bad acting throughout the entire movie.
I just thought of a couple scenes that I thought were pretty neat that we didn't talk about. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm done. What do you want us?
Just how they manipulated like the priest who's in Chicago,
Yeah,
and has never met this woman. Now, just to clarify, the only connection to that was that this demon had killed his daughter, right? That was the whole thing. That the demon had killed his daughter, and that's how they were all connected together.
I don't know if that
I don't know.
like
Yeah.
a legit thing or.
Well, no, he
that
was a real priest that the demon was mimicking, and the priest talks about like, why would you bring up my daughter? She died long ago. So what I'm thinking is that everybody this demon has encountered and murdered and taken on, it can mimic. So like,
Didn't he say that you even sound like her? Didn't he say that to
Yeah,
Louise?
yeah. And the whole thing
Okay.
is that means at some point this demon was fucking with him and sending him the phone calls. So like that's the whole thing is I think that's how that was the only way they were connected was the fact that this demon murdered his daughter as well, and so that's why the demon can mimic him. It mimics Charlie's granddaughter, who it couldn't have possibly ever met except through Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
So like I do like how they use the possession, but not really. It's all fake. It's all an illusion. Almost like this demon is like a Nordic Loki-esque type demon, which I think is really kind of neat.
Should come outside.
But yeah, exactly. And like I text you guys, I do like movies that have guys in movies that I love. So I don't know the name of the actor, but he's the stepfather to John Connor, who takes a blade through the fucking face by liquid metal.
Drinking milk.
Yeah, while drinking some nice cold milk from the carton. It's his fault. He should have used the glass. But yeah, he's in it. He plays the creepy fucking priest. But yeah, so there's little things in this movie where you're kind of like, wait a second, and I had to pay attention because I was talking to Jen at the time, and I'm like, wait, those oh, okay. And I'm pretty sure what happened was that demon had murdered his daughter and had dealt with him and haunted him at one point. Because he's like, I'm in Chicago. I was like, oh shit, never been to Texas.
Xander Berkeley. That was way off.
That's his name?
Yeah.
Dude, Terminator 2 has been my favorite movie of forever, and I've never known that guy's fucking name. Every time I see him, I was like, oh, it's John Connor's stepdad.
Yeah, I looked it up earlier, and I kept calling him Todd because that's Todd. He's Todd. And
She's not my mother, Todd.
Your foster parents are dead.
Yeah. You gotta love Schwarzenegger in that scene where he's just like, I'm doing my finest acting. Hold on, let me take it again. You ready? Okay, hold on. Your foster parents are dead. We're good? Alright, Cameron, go cigar smoke. You guys ready to give it some Chicago dogs?
Yeah.
Alex, you go first.
All right. So for me, it was predictable with the jump scares and shit. There were a lot that kept popping up. But like I said, overall, it was a good movie for me. I liked the acting. The one thing was Louise's fucking screaming and crying was starting to piss me off at a certain point, though. But I did like it, so I'm gonna say 3.5 hot dogs there.
Lewis.
So I'm gonna go with a solid 4. This is probably my favorite type of atmosphere.
You love the drawn out, like,
Yeah,
let me
yeah.
creepy crawl my way to the conclusion.
Yeah. I love trashy horror movies, but for my serious horror movies, I do like this type. Like I said, I've watched so many horror movies that I think jump scares, like the popcorn jump scare horror movies, they're just not. I don't know. They're not fun. Like I like a movie that there's a lot of tension. You feel like you're having a panic attack, and then when you're done watching the movie, your day's just ruined. Like Hereditary.
See, here's the thing: Hereditary made me less depressed than that piece of shit George Clooney movie. I have not ever watched a horror, maybe except the Serbian film, but I've never watched a horror movie that has left me so fucking hollow feeling. Is that Nespresso cocksucker space movie?
Like in the road?
So,
No, I read the Road book. I'm a huge Cormac McCarthy fan. I've seen the movie with Aragon in it. You could make me watch the movie and then read the book back to back, and I'd still feel. when I watched that piece of shit movie, I felt like I had to go punch a baby in the face just to feel a little bit of joy, to bring something into my life. Like, that movie, it just sucks like, horror movies are supposed to suck the oxygen out of the air. If you really want a movie that makes you feel like potentially cutting your wrists before bed that night, watch the George Clooney. I don't remember, Midnight's November, whatever the fuck it's called, some sky.
Yeah,
I think
Midnight Sky.
Midnight
I think
Sky.
November Skies is a movie. I
think Tobey Maguire's in that one, right?
I think it's with aliens or some shit like that. Or it's supposed to be about aliens.
Satellites or something.
Sort of similar.
It's like Contact without that bull face.
There might be a movie that might be worse than the Serbian film. It's called Trauma. I believe it's a Spanish movie. From what I've seen, it's pretty bad.
Here's the thing, like, let's be real. It's not only do I watch horror movies, I'm a fucked up person. Throughout my life, you guys ever see Two Hammers, One Nail, or whatever the fuck it's called, where it's literally home video of these two European kids bashing a dude's head in with hammers in the woods? Like, I was into, when I was younger, and not so much, I don't really have it's not that I don't have the stomach, I just don't have the interest in it, but, like, I used to watch gore porn. You know, so it's like, for me, horror movies are, to get me, like, that's why when I watch Heredity, the violence factor doesn't get me. I look at that shit like that's cool, because I've seen the real thing, and it's like, this is neat. And that's where I think a lot of people can't separate. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, this is movie, and this is real life, so they think what you see in a movie is what happens in real life, and real life's nowhere near. But, with that said, 3.5 hot dogs out of 5. No, I really do like this movie. I like I am a slow burn guy as well. I think I like it for a lot of the same reasons you do. That's why I think you should definitely check out We Are Still Here, because it's in the same vein. Slow burn. It's on a farm or a ranch. It's very isolated feeling. It's about a single family in a home they just move into. But yeah, this is my type of shit. Like, it reminded me a little bit of Creep.
Yeah,
you know, kind of that feeling. So, you know, I dug it 3.5, and for me, 3.5 for an indie, out of the park horror movie I hadn't even really looked at before you mentioned it. Thumbs up. I recommend it. Check it out. It's not the scariest movie. I'm like you, jump scares at this point, I brush them off. I like, you see them coming, and it's like, this is going to happen, and you move on. Like, you already know they're going to happen. So Alex is right there. Every movie that's using jump scares is predictable, though. It's not unique to this movie. But no, yeah, I'd highly recommend this to anybody who's got Shudder or looking for a decent, little bit different horror movie. So yeah, check it out. 3 out of 5 by me. 3.5.
I almost started this movie over when my wife got home tonight, because I was like, you know what, she would get scared from watching this. And I was like 35 minutes into it. I was like,
let me ruin her day.
But I was like, do I want to do this? I was like, never mind. I'll just finish watching it.
Once you get halfway through, you do understand that, like, if you have a spouse who isn't so much into the horror movies, the shit that doesn't get to us, like the mother behind him in the little goat shed, shit like that, will fuck them up. Like the whole father in the shower scene where he's just like shaking and shit. For me, I'm like, oh, that's kind of a neat effect. But for my wife, it'd be like, Jesus fucking man, fuck me. Like, you know what I mean? Like she just wants. Like, I shit you not, guys. She came downstairs and I had 25 minutes left of this movie, and I don't think her head lifted once. Like, I looked over at her several times, and she was, like, hard in the phone. Like, it wasn't, like, a passive, like, it's, like, this is all I have in the world, just this little rectangle. I'm just right here, you know what I mean? Like, I felt bad about that, and I was like, I can watch it, and she's like, no, I'm not going to leave. I'm not going to make you move. I was like, all right, well, enjoy. All right, we're going to take just a quick, teeny break for you guys. It'll be instantaneous, but for us, we're going to piss. We'll be right back with you with the next movie, which is Boss Level. Starring the brilliant Frank Grillo. I won't say, I mean, he's not brilliant, but he's pretty fucking awesome. He's shredded like lettuce in this movie, too. Like, he's got...
For an old man.
He's in his 40s, and he's got 17 abs. Like, he's in incredible shape. Anyway.
Are you sure he's in his 40s?
Is he in his 50s?
He was born in 65.
Holy shit. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 55. Holy shit.
Yeah.
So, dude, shredded like lettuce at 55. He needs to have some workout vids. I'm going to look him up on YouTube so I can use my new dumbbells. Anywho, we'll be right back with you guys. We're going to take a quick break. Love you.
All right, so the second movie we chose, well, I would say Matt chose. I think you'd been, you had mentioned this movie a couple times to us.
I saw the trailer like a year ago.
Yeah.
And then I saw it again like 3 months ago. And when it was like, oh shit, it's coming to Hulu. And then I saw like a week ago, I was like, holy fuck, Boss Level's out on Hulu. So I texted you guys because I remember Lewis had shared it with me, I think again, or Alex. One of you guys shared it again where you were like, this looks pretty fucking cool.
I think I might have said that.
Yeah, so that's how we get. I like Frank Grillo, so frankly, anything I see him, I'm gonna kind of at least look at to see what it is.
Yes, and also, so this movie, Boss Level's the name of the movie, kind of fell into the COVID development hell. Released February 25th of this year. Runtime of 100 minutes. Budget was 45 million. Box office for what it shows was 349,000. Apparently this movie was announced in 2012 and kind of just kept like just falling in development hell. Was supposed to be released in 2019, but it got delayed, and then Hulu ended up picking it up. So Matt had pointed this movie out to us because it stars Frank Grillo, who I looked up. He's been in a lot of shit. I didn't realize how much stuff he was in. Let's see. So for cast, the one character I wish there was more of in this movie, Mel Gibson, from Fat Man fame. Frank Grillo plays the main character. You have Naomi Watts, who plays the wife, who's kind of useless in this movie. Oh, you're muted.
You're muted.
I'm not a huge fan of Naomi Watts for no real individual reason.
Yeah, then you have Will Sasso.
Yeah,
is randomly.
I kept thinking of him as the Canadian every time from the Super Troopers.
What's up with his deep voice in this movie?
I don't know.
Like, is he trying to do his Steven Seagal impression?
I think he was just like a comedic relief doing it.
No. The Danny DeVitos I am talking about wasn't throw mamas from the train. Yeah, no, I like Will Sasso, but yeah, he was a little out of place in this movie.
You wouldn't have a goofy role if it wasn't for Ken Jeong, who of course plays the chef.
Which he's kind of fallen, no?
Yeah.
Like as a side character in a movie?
Yeah.
It's kind of fucked. Especially one that's been in development for so long. Like, it was made when he still should have had some decent popularity, no? Like 2015, 16, 17, or whenever the fuck they filmed it.
2016, 17.
I don't even know what decade it's supposed to come out anymore. It was made in It was made in 1984. Hulu just bought the rights. Sorry.
Yeah, and so I mean, we could jump into this movie. I do see there's this quote saying that they described it as Groundhog Day as an action movie.
I fucking wrote that down.
That's it's just me, or is that too spot on?
Yeah, it's too spot on. Like to me, this movie falls in the wheelhouse of like Crank, like a Hardcore Henry.
It's Crank meets the Butterfly Effect.
I thought of Gamer in a way.
Yes. Well, so those are the same guy who made Crank made that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. And I also thought of Scott Pilgrim in a way too, because of the whole video game type thing. So with the captions that kept popping up, and
I wish
and how he was reacting.
But I wish there would have been more of that, like him connecting with the kid. Why couldn't have they incorporated like his character that he uses to play with the kid, like in the background fighting alongside of him as he's fucking dudes up? You know what I mean? Like they could have played with that concept a little bit more. Like if they're wanting to go for the idea like this is the ultimate replay button, then play with it a little bit. Give me some fun. Instead, you give me the same footage 10 fucking times with here's a little bit of a different scene.
I would also kind of rope this into like movies similar to like Guns Akimbo, sort of.
Yeah, it's a goofy, fun action flick. If you try to take it too seriously, you're missing the entire point.
Exactly.
Which is why, despite, like I say, I make... Let's see how close I can get. What if I just did the whole... Like, despite the fact that I make criticisms, I did enjoy this movie.
We do. Can we do like a whenever we?
God, you can hear your fucking eyes blinking.
Did you hear
like a stamp thing that just shows up like? approved.
So on that
Approved.
on the website that we got the T-shirts from, you can make stamps, and I really want to make a Nerditude stamp, and just walk around places and fucking stamp shit.
Oh god, he's gonna get letterheads and envelope. You know,
Ooh, I didn't even think of letterheads. I have to.
does he
Look
make Post-its?
yeah, you can actually.
Holy shit!
I just.
I'm throwing.
I wish I had. I wish this was Animal Crossing where I had like 16 million bills. Like, how many bills is 1,000 Post-its? Oh, no problem. And then you just like dip into my ABD account. Only nerds know what the fuck we're talking about, frankly. Like people who don't play it, like, what the fuck are they talking about? Anybody who does is like, I know what you mean, buddy. I'm Bill Rich. It's like, you did well in
I'm
the
a
turnip
billionaire.
game. Yeah, as Alex, when I asked him, I was like, how much did you get when I first started? I was like, gee whiz, Alex, how'd you get all this money? And he's like, I did well in the turnip game. Like, all confident and like he's fucking Leonardo DiCaprio from Wolf of Wall Street. I'm like, what? And he's like,
I went on your island. And I fucking threw out 1,000,000 bells to you and your wife
Yeah.
each.
yeah, like, I'm over here
Like,
like,
what the fuck?
and then I thought 1,000,000 was a lot at that point. And then you get further
Yeah.
in the game and you're like,
Nope.
and now I have 17 million, and I'm at that point where I told Tim, because Tim's like, I wish you guys would give me some money. Maybe I'd play and build my island. And I was like, he was down here. I was like, if you ever fucking jump on, I'll give you 1,000,000 and so will John. And he's like, oh, it's just like, play it when we play it. I've been playing a lot of Splatoon lately. Most of my entire stream today was Splatoon. God, I hate that game.
The second one, right? It's out. The second one.
Yeah,
is?
part 2.
Yeah, I'm waiting for 3, but it's 2022, so I just really hope they implement a lot of the things I bitch about while playing it. Because there's some shit that are in modern shooters that, like, for one thing, matchmaking, that doesn't exist in that game. And it's frustrating. But that's not why we're here to talk. We're here to talk about senile genital warts. Now, the problem with these... Go on, Liz.
Well, no. So we did mention video games. So this movie, it's called Boss Level. It was originally titled Continue. Which
I like that
Because they
name
changed
more. I like
you
that
really?
name more. Like, what, it's continue, and it's like, but when you do the ad, here's the thing. This movie didn't have a hook in the ad. Like, you would have had a much better hook if the end of the trailer was continue, and it was like glowing and flashing like it would have on a Street Fighter. Because boss levels,
the
like,
yes button or the no.
yeah, and boss levels, like, and then you give him a little character, like punching the yes button or something. Like, boss levels, like, boss level, and then he gets to Mel Gibson, who's the boss, not much of a fucking boss. I would have much preferred continue. I think you could have marketed it better. My opinion.
which I guess we can. I mean, we always just jump into the movie.
Spoiler
but,
alert, he dies a lot.
he does die a lot. I think when the movie starts, he's up to like 140.
No, he's at like 100. And then
At 100?
throughout the movie, he does like another 45 or maybe even longer days to finally figure out the whole puzzle. Because it's essentially a puzzle game wrapped around an action title. If you
Yeah.
look at it
One of my
video
last
games.
counts, I don't know if it's the final one, but I'm at 249.
Yeah, because there's that whole montage where he wipes through like a lot of days trying to figure it out. Which, once again, you give me half a fucking movie of the same footage over and over, and then you just blast through 100 days of him wiping through shit, and you don't show me any of it really besides little clips here and there of him dying over and over, which is cool, but you could have used that for some variety, dude. And that's one of the things that I don't like about this movie is there's a lot of, like, in my eyes, like, as a cinematographer, if I was to film it, there's missed opportunities.
Yeah, and so Matt had said something. I think it was off camera that
Off the record.
the movie kind of gets to a part in the middle where it's kind of just a slog, and I don't know if that's because they kept doing the like quick restart so much in the beginning. I feel like if they would have spread it, the movie's fun, but
Definitely.
and it introduces like a bunch of characters that are bad guys and they're all unique. But I think instead of wasting its time doing a bunch of the restarts and showing how he died differently, I thought it would have been cooler to like get more into like him having actual fights with certain of those unique bosses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Let
like
him-
Kill Bill without the backstory.
Yeah, and show the multiple ways he's dying at those bosses, and not like
How he learned to take the, like they show that a
Yeah.
little bit, but then when it
They
comes to the
sh-
major death scenes, they don't show how he learned that that's how they track it. You know, like I don't know.
Yeah, they show like one kill from each person. The only person that they really show more than once is what's his name? I am Guy Yin, and I did this chick.
Her and Rob Gronkowski, who was the minigun operator in the helicopter outside of his apartment.
That was Rob.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Yeah, right.
I think-
He dies in a movie like 200 times.
I think my favorite of all of the sub bosses is the midget.
Kaboom.
Yeah,
So I mean, I will give them credit. Some of the practical effects they use in this movie are pretty solid. Like you can tell that they strapped dynamite to a dummy and blew it up, which I kind of really like about it. It's nice and violent. It is a rough movie. Now we glossed over a lot of story. Just a quick wrap up. The idea is basically, and you learn this.
I smell muffins.
You learn this in a.
Do you smell muffins?
You learn this in a flashback where his ex-wife separated, just estranged, whatever. Calls him in a panic. He comes over to help her. She's doing shit, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, he's waking up day after being killed, respawning essentially in the same scenario. The same things happen with minor variations, and it explains that he has gone through and like figured out the whole thing. Throughout the movie, he's kind of in a lost cause of just like, fuck it, I'll do the same shit over and over, not understanding that the end result, if he basically gets to the end of the level, is entire world destruction. If you've watched the trailer, they show the scene with like the blue explosion happening. Mm-hmm. That's him watching the end of the world. So the movie, which is nice, does shift, because the way it leads you in the beginning is very much of like, oh, whatever. We're just going to watch him do this over and over. I don't really know the point. And then it does shift to like, oh, fuck, here's the stakes. The whole world ends if I don't figure this out. One of the things that I mentioned that I think it was slow in the center, and they kind of needed it, is his rekindling with his kid. That's where the slowdown really starts. But the thing about it is if you don't have that, then the fact that they kill, spoiler alert, they kill off the kid in each of the scenario, and they come to the point where you realize that every one of these times he's died, his kid's been killed because he's the next target. Then they add another layer to it, which is a little kind of higher stakes, which makes the ending all that more disappointing on how they just kind of like, you know what's going to happen. It's like, no, I don't, because that's the whole fucking point. Because at this point in the fucking movie, you don't have any respawns, so your reactions might be different. I don't know what's going to happen, but you know what you do? You end the fucking movie without ending the movie. You let this asshole right here wink at the fucking screen, and that's it. You know how annoying that is as a moviegoer to not finish a movie?
you now know how frustrated Stephen King readers are because if you haven't read the Dark Tower series, I'm going to spoil them for you. It's 8 books, and at the very end, the main character gets transported back to the first book, and the book ends because he has to go through that whole journey again. 8 books.
The only thing
Good thing I'm not going to fucking read them now.
The only thing that's more disappointing is True Blood's ending. After 5 seasons, she doesn't end up with any of the main characters. Some dude they don't even show the face of, and she's having like a picnic outside. What the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
True Blood, great show in my opinion, up until season 5, and then they basically just shit all over everything. And then buried it with Bill so he could turn it into a vampire. And you had a shit vampire. Fresco. It's for gas.
You did bring up, since you brought up the middle of this movie, the whole like Frank Grillo like talking with his kid like
a little
is.
Go on, I know where you're going. Yeah.
No, I think it's okay. Like I think because because of the way the movie is structured, it's a bit hard to like, I don't know, feel for him on a dad level, because
You see him at the beginning.
But by all proof, he's a piece of shit. Otherwise, not a piece of shit. Yeah. No, he fights.
Cares.
He fights for this country. He's not a piece of shit, but he's very neglectful of what he shouldn't be, which is his family. His job is his life, and they're more of a consequence of that. Which is not how a man should be.
him and the wife are kind of pieces of shit.
Well, her
Yep.
career is all that fucking matters.
But
She
it also
sacrifices
makes you
everything
think.
for it.
But she was at first she was working to do a living, but then she's forced into it afterwards, though.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm tired of that fucking cliched storyline in movies. Bullshit. Look at the world we live in. You know how literally she would just have to scream sexual harassment, and at the most they'd fire her to get her the fuck out. Like, I'm sorry, but nowadays this like secret society corporation where women can, you know how easy it is for a woman to blow a whistle. Like literally, they just have to blow a fucking whistle, and somebody's like, "What's up?" And then they'll just spill the beans. Like, I hate that storyline nowadays. Like I do back in the day, sure, but with different movements and social media the way it is, I don't know. Look how things get leaked from politicians and all this other shit, and it's just like, you mean to tell me she couldn't have gotten into contact with the FBI or whatever it is, you know? Like, come on. That should have been the storyline with her.
I get the sense that, like, because of her line of work, she's probably a workaholic too, which means, like, regardless who the kid was with, I think the kid would have been neglected.
Yeah, and then the other thing is Mel Gibson's not very villainous.
No, he's not.
He's a scientist who, when he meets Frank Grillo the several times he does, he's very much like once that he figures it out that it was working, he's like, oh shit, well what's going on? Like he's all scientist, and that's why like the whole like them killing her thing is so stupid because it doesn't know what they want to do with Mel Gibson's character. Because he's not full villain, because he's literally got one fat bald guard who sloppily does his dirty work. He's not murdering hundreds of people. Like, he's not that type of villain. So his character's very imbalanced to the point of like, you're kind of indifferent on him, which is never good.
Yeah, it's almost like they didn't really know what to do with his character.
I mean, to his credit, I think he did well with it. Like, he acted it pretty well, but like, they didn't give him a whole lot of substance.
No.
If he had more on screen, he probably would have did more. But
I'd have loved more. I love Mel Gibson. You give me more Mel Gibson, I'll watch it. I'm gonna go fucking watch The Patriot and have some private time. Just the first 20 minutes.
one of the scenes I liked about it was when he's in the bathroom, and it's when he first finds out about the tooth.
Oh yeah.
And he and the guy opens the door. He goes, "Hey Pedro, you want to come and take a look? You want to come help me take a look?" And he's just like.
I do find it hilarious how Frank Grillo runs through this movie full of violence and destruction and chaos, basically laughing through it. Yeah. Like, his character has done it. He's basically Crash Bandicoot stuck in a fucking time warp to where he's just having, like, he just doesn't, he's at the point he doesn't care, where at this point it's just like, all right, well, I'm going to go ride the roller coaster of today. We'll see how far I get. That's why he ends up at the bar every day drinking.
I haven't seen too much of like his movies, but I didn't picture him as like kind of being a funny dude, and he pulls it off pretty good in this movie.
Yeah. He's funny but not charming. Like, yeah, his funny lines are good, but there's like -4 chemistry between him and Blondie.
That's because he just looks like an asshole.
Yeah, but he's shredded. What woman wouldn't want this man? He's 55 fucking years old. Even if this was filmed 3 years ago, that's 52 years old. And he's shredded lettuce. 17 different ab muscles at work on this. In fact, I'll show you. It's incredible the kind of shape this man is in. It's not even going to take me long to find it because my desktop is just full of photos of Frank Grillo. So just give me 1 second. I think I'm in love.
He's kind of buff.
I'm actually a really big fan of his. I've seen a lot of his movies. And he's a good, like, I really, when Crossbones was announced and it was announced that it was him, I was like, dude, awesome. Because anything he's in, he's good in. So this, I don't even know when this photo was taken. Oh yeah, so this is a still ripped after 50 photo. Look at this dude. I don't want the fucking article. Just show me the photo. I mean, come on. Everyone who doesn't look like that at any age, if you're 30 and you don't look like that, you're like, fuck, I wish I looked like Frank Grillo. Just be honest with yourselves. And he makes a good action star. It's just they need to figure out. Frank Grillo is funny, but I think, frankly, I'd be okay if they replaced Mr. whatever the hell his name is as Punisher. I'm kind
John Berthel?
I'm kind of over John Berthel. I'm not a big. He's okay, but I'd like Grillo as Punisher instead. But the problem is Grillo's another short guy, just like Baruchel. Punisher's supposed to be tall and brooding, so you need kind of a big guy to be him. So it's like I don't think they've ever cast him properly. Thomas Jane, I really liked I do like him as an actor, and I appreciate the fact that they really bulked him up for that role, but still way too small. You need a big dude. It's as simple as that. Hell, I'd even take, if you wanted to make a story about an aging Punisher, put Undertaker in the role.
What about what's his face from Warzone? Did you think he was a good Punisher?
From what?
What was the other Punisher movie that was went under the radar?
I mean, he was okay, but no, not really. He's, for one thing, he's a soft body. He really didn't get in any sort of muscular shape. His lines were cheesy, which isn't his fault. That whole movie was cheesy. Did great on the gore factor. Like, if you can give me the gore factor of 2 with everything from number 1, you have everything except for John Travolta. You have a much better movie. But no, I honestly don't even know who you would cast nowadays in that sort of role. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, and I hate to keep going to him, but he's one of the only dudes who is ripped like Jesus, but swole, and that's Hemsworth. You dye his hair black. It's one of the. But the problem is then you overuse him. You can't. Mark Wahlberg, as much as I'd love to put it, would be a stupid choice. Just like he was.
That's Max Payne.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just like he was a stupid fucking choice for Max Payne. Like the main actors that are out there that have done action movies are like not big dudes. Chris Evans, maybe. He might be okay as a Punisher.
Do you think he could? I don't know. Wouldn't he have to have a voice? Because his voice is kind of.
He could do the raspy voice, yeah. What was his early Captain America lines were pretty low tone, and when he's got the mask on, he talks like this. That's the thing, is I don't know if he'd be able to do. But who else could you think of that would be a appropriate replacement for the Punisher? Josh, I don't think he did a great job as Punisher. I think his screaming thing was fucking stupid. I think the success of that show was the choreography and the direction. He was okay. I mean, as much as I thought at the time he was, you try watching it again, and it's a little some of the scenes are like, oh fuck, again with the screaming.
I still haven't finished the last seasons. What is it? 2 seasons or 3?
I mean, the best part of that show is Kingpin. Vincent D'Onofrio was, and I hope they use him as Kingpin in the Marvel Universe because he's brilliant as him.
Yeah.
Although I did make fun of him for a while. It always make my wife laugh because there's a part where he talks about taking out the trash.
And he says it like that? Yeah.
Yeah, when he was a kid, and he's like, and I went to take out the trash. And so throughout the show, every time he was frustrated, I would be like, gotta take out the goddamn trash.
It was the way he said it, and then the way he made his face at the same time.
Take out the trash.
I was like, oh god.
He was cracking his neck or some shit in the scene. He's like, take out the trash. It was like he's wearing an Edgar suit, throwback.
If Marvel doesn't keep Charlie Cox as Daredevil, then they're the dumbest fucking company ever.
That young gentleman had 3 months to work out and train the martial arts and everything. He got the role on a whim and gave him no time. That's why, if you notice, from season 1 to season 2, he's got a much different, thicker build. And also, but look what they were able to do. He had 3 months, and look at all the fucking single-shot fight scenes. I kind of want to go back and watch that, because that first season of Daredevil, after season 3 is incredible. Or, I'm sorry, after episode 3 is incredible. And then season 2 is really good. The whole show's really good, actually.
Do they have him on Disney Plus right now, or
Netflix?
No.
I thought they pulled him.
Did they pull him off Netflix?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Marvel has the property rights back, but I don't think they pulled him off Netflix. They can use the characters again, but that belongs to Netflix, the shows. But yeah, no, I mean, Charlie Cox, if you do Daredevil, he needs to be Daredevil. There's no reason for it not to be that way. There was rumors that he was going to be in that new Spider-Man movie, that he had filmed scenes for it.
Yeah, I don't know why Marvel hasn't hasn't brought him in on his own movie.
I'd love a Daredevil movie, but you'd have to redo. Like, how do you continue the show though? Do you continue the show?
Okay, they do have it.
Like,
I
would
don't
you
know.
continue the storyline of the show, or do you reboot it with him as Daredevil in movie form?
Well, that's another Marvel's. Oh God, I'm definitely going to go into more comic book shit next week. But Marvel handing out all of their shows to fucking Fox and whatever shitty streaming service and Netflix. It's like it's a stupid move if you're trying to build a shared universe. Because they still have Hulu exclusive.
Yeah, but why not preserve the relationship? Okay, get rid of the other two shows, the White Fist or whatever it was, and then what's his face?
Iron Fist.
Iron Fist. And the black guy. Shit, what's his
Cage?
Cage. Get rid of them. But you have established audiences. Even if you want to keep Barenthal, he's popular as the Punisher. People like him in that character. Here's the problem with the Punisher show. They didn't make him the Punisher until the very last scene of the show. Ever. Which is him dual machine guns in the alleyway with the lights of the fucking muzzle fire glowing his face. Which is the Punisher. Which is the shot I had been as a fucking fan, had been waiting for 3 seasons, and it was the last 2 seconds of film in the entire show. That's the problem with the Punisher show. But you have established audiences. People love Daredevil. The audience is there. Why don't you preserve the relationship and say, okay, it's our character now. We're gonna have it on Disney Plus. You know what? Here's some royalties because you established the base, and preserve the relationship and build upon it. Let it be canon. But Marvel's got to fuck around. They'd rather reboot something than to fit into their goddamn grand plan, which they blew up with Avengers Endgame, than work with it, which is their fault.
One thing about Marvel, though, they did do pretty good with the TV shows.
And it's not Marvel; it's Disney now that's doing the fuckery. Let's be fair here.
I know, but I'm just saying Marvel Universe, whatever.
Yeah, the one that's being.
What they were doing was the TV shows were still showing stuff that was happening in the movies. Yeah. So, like with what's it called, Shield, yeah. WandaVision, they did that in there.
Well, that directly connects with Mind of Madness, Doctor Strange too. Apparently.
Yeah, it did too. Yeah,
I haven't watched it. I don't have a. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I liked it.
Do you think Jen would be able to get into it?
Yeah.
I don't know. We might have to watch some of the movies. There's so many of them, and I'm tired of everybody kissing the ass of Marvel Productions. Controversial statement: Black Panther, wildly overrated. Not bad. Decent origin flick. Not nearly as great as they say it was. Wonder Woman, same fucking deal. Just because it's the quote-unquote best of the DC universe, it was okay. Kind of boring. Not bad. Whatever. I'm tired of these movies being like Avengers Endgame. It's good. I like it. If you had solid action flicks coming out that were competing with it, would it be held in the same regard? I don't know. Look at what happened with Kingsman versus John Wick. John Wick comes out, it's amazing. Kingman comes out, has arguably one of the best action scenes ever in the past 20 years, we'll say, in the church scene. Nobody talks about it. Everybody talks about John Wick. John Wick's got how many sequels? Kingsman teetered off but they have that prequel coming. Like, I don't know. There's just something where it's like, I do truly feel the new Avengers movies are only popular because what other giant action spectacle are you seeing besides Marvel Productions and maybe Mission Impossible movies? What new action franchise have you seen in the past 5 years that had that level of explosive stuff going on besides, what was that Michael Bay Netflix movie? But even that was, you know what I mean? Like, the budget wasn't there. Like, there's no competition in that realm. If the Marvel movies coming out now were around in the 90s, they wouldn't be nearly as regarded as amazing. Think of how many amazing 90s action movies there were. Put it in those categories. If they had a flood of those coming out in the past decade instead of what they have had, would they be regarded as I mean, they're not bad, but man, as an action movie fan, I think they're wildly overrated in general.
Yeah, well, I mean, also Marvel is dipping in the last 5 years or so with their movies is dipping more towards a, I don't want to say family oriented, but
Which I hate.
technically, yeah, they are.
The reason why Winter Soldier was so good is because it was a fairly rough Marvel movie. Like it was action heavy, and that's one of my favorites because it's a pretty solid action flick.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think. I think we'll still get that from them, but I think their movies are going to trend more towards like Ant-Man and the Wasp and Captain Marvel, just movies that are like safe, like for them, because they know they're gonna get that wide audience.
Here's the thing, I'm okay with that, but then you gotta give the other characters you gotta give Ghost Rider a fair shot. You gotta give the Punisher. You gotta give Daredevil. You gotta give these heroes that you can go darker with. For one thing, don't fuck with the Punisher. It's a rated R movie. Stop fucking around. Just like they fucked with Blade. Blade's PG-13 now. The main focus is the relationship with his fucking daughter. And people are like, well, the source material wasn't that violent. The source material also had him looking like a stereotypical 1970s disco black guy with a fucking afro. You want to go back to history? Let's talk about history of the source material. Nobody gives a fuck about Blade's source material. Who cares about his comics? The fact is, the movie in the 90s came out, and that's what people know of him. And you're fucking with that. For one thing, PG-13 is, I'm out. What reason do I have to watch a movie about a vampire slayer slaying vampires when there's not going to be a ton of blood?
If there's no blood orgy scene, I'm out.
That was lacking from the first one. But it's just like Punisher needs to be rated R. You make Daredevil a hard PG-13. Let Zack Snyder direct it. He'd actually probably do a pretty good Daredevil.
I don't know.
Evanescence in there.
If you see the opening scene of the Snyder Cut where they introduce Wonder Woman, I don't think Marvel will hire him for a superhero movie.
Yeah, you know what's funny about that? The DC's regretting their decision right now. I guarantee you. DC's like, there's 5 heads at a table somewhere earlier in the day today, just like, what did we do? Like, people are saying this is a masterpiece. Like, one guy's like, I told you we should have never let him release it. And the other guy's like, we should have never fucked with him in the first place. Like, there's some board members sweating right now because they have a DC universe that's fractured. But here's a guy who made one, had a plan, and they fucked him over with it. And they're like, what do we do now?
Yeah.
And that's a bad question because it's like, as a consumer, I'm like, what do you do now? Like, you put this out there and you want to tell everybody that's disconnected from the DC universe, but how do you justify that when everybody likes this version? It's basically like, so we released New Coke, and we know you guys really didn't like New Coke, but we're not going to sell old Coke anymore. Like, that's what they did, for how long? And then now it's like, well, people love old Coke and hate New Coke, but we're really invested in New Coke. Like, that's Warner Brothers' situation with that franchise, the whole DCEU.
So, Marvel's coming out with the Morbius, or is that something else?
No, yeah, that's connected. That's the universe. That's the Jared Leto movie.
Technically, it's Marvel now, but it was made by Fox.
Oh, what? I actually think from what I've seen, it doesn't look terrible though.
That's scheduled for 2022.
Yeah, that's a movie that got finished and just got shoved over to their side.
How long has it been done?
Probably for a while.
Really? Was this when Jared Leto was on an island and he didn't know about the whole COVID? Is this the movie he was filming?
That dude can sink into the fucking ocean.
So here's the thing. He's all about fighting for the little man, right? He's like the impoverished, take care of our people. What an extraordinary show of privilege, class privilege, to be like, oh wait, I'm sorry, I've been on a private island for 6 months. You peasants are dealing with something? My island's pure. What happened to you guys? He came down from the heavens. And it's like, I'm supposed to relate to this cocksucker?
And he never had no news or nothing because there's no...
That means he had no responsibilities, no stress, and I'm supposed to relate to him that this millionaire was able to disappear and go off grid and come back to reality just like, oh, we have to wear masks now? No way. Bummer. Like, fuck you. Go back to your island and fuck off. Get out of here. You're not going to get another chance at Joker. Who the fuck could be Joker?
Not a fan of him.
Who could be Joker in the DCU though? Who the fuck's going to be Joker? Who's going to be Batman? We literally don't. It's a puzzle where the pieces are inside the Dallas board set.
They do have him coming back for Joker
in shit they had already.
Harley Quinn. Yeah, there's 2 Joker.
What, Suicide Squad
projects.
2?
I don't know. It says Harley Quinn and Joker project announced, and then a Joker project announced.
And no matter who they cast,
it's and a Tron 3.
It's going to be directly related to Heath Ledger, and then they're going to be like, well, it wasn't as bad as the last one, but it's still not going to be good. Who would be a good Joker? Anybody? I don't honestly know. Matt Damon.
I don't know.
Matt Damon.
An older Joker.
See, that's the thing is where is the timeline?
Mark Hamill
is. Yeah, no, he's at this point. Let's be honest. He's shaped more like the fucking Penguin.
An older version, I said though.
Joker doesn't get fat when he gets older. He's still slim. He's always slim.
An older Joker, I could see like Willem Dafoe.
Ooh, I don't know when
is he still alive?
Yeah.
Yes, he's still alive.
No, he died. He died back in Nam, Alex.
Just asking.
All right, let's tell you what. Let's wrap this up. Boss Level, basically, go check it out. We say too much, you know too much of the movie. We've already, frankly, I think, said too much of the movie. It's a decent action flick. It's fun. It's humorous. It's bloody. It kind of tries to hit a bunch of different categories. It's worth a watch. Anybody want to say anything about it before we go ahead and give it the old hot dogs?
I agree with Matt. It's a fun movie. It's a hard right turn from the first movie we reviewed. So if you do watch them both, this is a palate cleanser.
I would definitely watch this after, do it in the order we reviewed it, because you're gonna need something to refresh that fucking thing.
I went the opposite direction, unfortunately.
Idiot. You were all happy at the end of fucking Boss Level, and then you didn't feel satisfied because the ending, and then you get to Dark and Wicked, and you're depressed and unsatisfied by the ending. Boy, that's a hard path. You went the hard road.
I thought it was a fun movie. It doesn't require a lot of brain power to watch. It's just a fun, mindless movie.
Nothing like Frank Grillo does.
It was a lot of fun for me. I don't know. And the acting, again, it wasn't horrible people that acted.
No.
Even the fucking, we always say something about kid. Well, I say something about kid acting, and the kid wasn't a bad actor either.
He was. I agree with you. I actually like the kid in this movie.
Yeah. So I mean, I found it a fun movie. I did like it.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, do you want me to go first, or somebody get out of the way? As far as action and mindless action fucking movies go, I am gonna say 4 hot dogs on this. I did fucking like it. It kept. I didn't get like tired. I didn't get fucking sleepy. There was a lot of stuff that was repetitive, and it did feel like Groundhog Day, but it didn't deter me from fucking enjoying the movie. So 4 fucking hot dogs for me.
Anthony.
Yeah, I'll go with a solid 3.5 hot dogs. It's a fun movie. This is perfect to throw on and not have to rack your brain, as opposed to the first movie we reviewed. And also, like Alex said, all of the actors in it everyone does like a damn good job. It's just a good movie. Kind of wish there were different takes on the repeating the day with certain of the sub bosses. But yeah, it's a good movie. I also wish Mel Gibson had like a bigger role in it.
Okay.
But
on to your point about the different takes, why wouldn't you have given each of the bosses a scene where it was a different type of game you were playing? Like, why wasn't there an Old Boy style action scene, side scrolling, where he's just fucking everybody up? Why wasn't there an adventure RPG where he's literally climbing a tower, wasting through guys? Like, they could have taken that, and
especially since they made reference to side scrolling games, 8 gig or 8-bit.
Like the thing about it is, and this is why I'm gonna give it 3.5 dogs out of 5. I would have given it higher if not for missed opportunities. Because where Alex felt there was some Scott Pilgrim in the movie, you could have legitimately had some Scott Pilgrim in the movie, where you do give each of these bosses, where they don't give much time to, their own level. And like, yeah, that would have made the movie 2 hours long, but so fucking, or 2 hours and 15 minutes long. But so what? You're talking about a movie that repeats all the time. It should be kind of long.
He does have that line though, where he says, "I just don't have that fucking time," and he fucking brings out the Gatling gun and fucking mows him down.
Yeah, but
before they even get
that's
out
at
the door.
that's at the very end. But they should
Yeah.
at least. And here's the thing: all of the boss battles he dies in. Like you don't let him kill them all. You show the fight, you show the adventure, you show the scene, but he dies in all of them. So like that's the thing is it's like, you could have, as a gamer, I would have appreciated if they would have done something like that and played around with that, because there's a lot they could have explored within that realm that they just didn't.
Yeah.
But all right, so anything else anybody wants to say before we wrap up?
No, you said
No,
3.5, right?
3.5,
Yeah.
yeah, 3.5
Yeah.
hot dogs out of 5. The other half of the hot dog I'm gonna throw on the freeway.
You and Anthony could put them together, make one.
Yeah, then
Oh,
we'll
yeah?
feed it to a fucking dog. So yeah, no, I had a point I was gonna make about the hot dog not being like a clean hot dog. Like this is the type of movie where the hot dog is like just dripping with fucking relish juice and it's sloppy and it makes a mess of your beard, but you don't give a fuck because it tastes good. That's
It
this
was
movie.
dipped in the beef grease.
God.
Ugh.
No, I said messy, not fucking gluttonous. Messy, not my 600-pound life. I don't know why I'm not losing weight as he dips fucking hot dogs into nacho cheese. No, ew.
Dipping it in mayonnaise like the Violator.
Oh, it's like mayonnaise on a hot dog. What is wrong with people? Like, I'll go a little adventurous, but no. And by the way, hot dogs that people put on French rolls or bread rolls, go fuck yourself. It's too much bread. You know what the bread ratio to hot dog is when it's a regular hot dog and a goddamn bread roll? You gotta give me a fucking sausage if it's gonna be a bread roll.
Was it Gamer where he was dipping pancakes in buckets of syrup
Oh god, I don't even
and eating
remember.
it? Was it or was it Surrogates?
Probably. Oh, it's surrogates.
Was it Surrogates where he's
yeah.
dipping pancake and just dripping it all over while he's playing?
Yeah, that was the.
That's another movie that reminds me of this. Yeah.
All right, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you, everybody, for being here. This is our first week back again after Lewis's vacation. Schedule upcoming was, what do we say next week? The Snyder Cut.
Snyder
It's
Cut.
the
Snyder
only
Cut.
movie we'll be doing because it's 4 hours fucking long. And then the week after that
Godzilla?
was Godzilla's the week after that, where we'll be reviewing just that movie, but we'll also be talking about the storylines leading up to that movie storyline, both in the Godzilla and King Kong universes.
And the week after that, we're doing
Live Mortal Kombat, right? Or
no,
is
no,
that
that's
2
that's
weeks?
that's 2 weeks after that. I thought we were saying On the Line or whatever.
You know what? You fuck. You know what? I got a fucking text message while we're recording. You know what it is? It's the Voodoo screenshot of her purchasing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
You cost me $12.99 on that piece of shit today. You're on my list. But that's everything. Thank you.
You got to bring out the pen.
Yeah.
He's on my
I
list.
don't want to get sued by the WWE. Oh, that's one of our characters. No. You're on the list. I'll pull up my
And then
Nerd Team new-
April 17th, Mortal Kombat. There you go.
Yeah, we'll be
Yes.
doing. That's a live episode where we're
Mortal
We're
Kombat.
moving the live episode a couple weeks.
Yeah, here's the thing. I've been toying. Do we do 3 movie reviews, or do we do the movie review on the new one and then just discuss the other 2?
We could discuss the other
Like,
two,
do
I
we
guess.
need to go into a rigid movie review about fucking Mortal
Nah.
Kombat Annihilation?
Is it a continuance of it or is it a reboot?
No.
No, it's complete reboot. The other 2
So
are
we could
together.
we can
but-
mention.
Well, I mean, I'd like to talk about all things Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. Is that episode's going to be live, but it's going to be we'll review the new movie, but also discuss kind of everything Mortal Kombat and all that. I think
Basically the next so next week, the Godzilla week and the Mortal Kombat week, we're gonna be talking about like all of the shit we like about the series, the franchise. We're gonna be going into like for Godzilla, like I want to bring up just kaiju shit that we like, whether it be Cloverfield.
Is this a nerd alert?
Yeah,
Is it a nerd alert?
so don't think of them as like we're just gonna. It's a small episode of one movie. Like the whole episode's gonna be that theme. We're gonna do deep dives into these, and maybe we'll do more shit like this.
Yeah.
In the future.
I also, the week of the Mortal Kombat, I'm going to install. I think Mortal Kombat 10 is on Game Pass, and if it's not,
Okay.
I own number 11. And you can actually get that fairly cheap right now, so I'm going to for sure be streaming some Mortal Kombat that week leading up on the stream. Also, as I said early on, we're test firing T-shirts. If you watch this, if you're a fan and you have any interest, and we'll show the designs off. Maybe after we get them, will be when we fully unveil them. But if you have interest at all of any sort of merchandise, whether it be a T-shirt or a face mask, let us know in the comments. We can, we'll figure it out. We're just kind of test firing now, but we can definitely get them out to you, depending on what you want. So just let us know, and we can start shipping stuff out after we unveil them. But other than that, everybody have a wonderful day, night, whatever time it is for you. And we're going to see you guys next week with a new round, the Snyder Cut. I was going to say new round of movies, but it's giant ass
It
one.
technically is a couple of movies.
Yeah, right. A new movie. But we'll be back with that. And until then, bye-bye. I love you.
Have a good day.
See you next week.